Hello, everybody. This is UFC Wildcat here,
And I'm Powder Blue Bolts.
and this is the 12th installment of our Bowl Special Series
And in this series, we have UCLA facing off against Baylor.
in the Bridgepoint Holiday Bowl. Dude, you killed it, man. We had something going. We had a little fling going, and nope, you killed it.
Seductive voices just weren't doing it for me.
It wasn't do it for me either. We're done with it. Never again. This is going to be good. This bowl is going to be an epic one.
Offense.
Offense. You've got a 4,000-yard passer. You've got, on the other side, almost a 3,500-yard passer. Oh, man.
You got two running backs. Jonathan Franklin, who was, in talks for the Heisman. He was a Doak Walker Award finalist, and he's UCLA's all-time leading rusher. And then, on the other side of the ball, in Baylor, you have Lache Seastrunk.
It's really Lake, but I honestly thought it was Lache for the longest time.
Lake Seastrunk, who as of today, December 21st, said, I am going to win the Heisman in 2013.
He also said he's the best back. He's the fastest back.
And he's going to win the Heisman in 2013. Bold statement.
I mean, if you want to put a target on your and your team's back, all the power to you. Because guess what? Your team doesn't have a defense. Every halfback's going to go ham on you now.
Yep. I mean, more power to him, but I mean, he is a very good back. I will agree with him there. But I don't like when guys come out and say they're going to do that. Like when Jadeveon Clowney said, I think I can and I have the potential to, that's a little different than saying I'm going to win it.
Yeah, it's pretty bold. But enough about that. Let's I'm really excited about this bowl because you've got two pretty good coaches facing off.
Yeah,
you've got Art Briles, who's his offensive has been pretty good. He had RG3 and he decides, once RG3 goes, we're going to have Nick Florence step in and just be a hero.
He's leading the nation in offense.
It's crazy. And then you got on the other side, Jim Mora, first year coming in, and talk about a culture change. Mm-hmm. He seriously took this culture. They were having senior skip day for footballs, jumping the walls and just like leaving. As soon as he came in, Jim Mora said, I ain't having that. You ain't doing that. And he whipped this team into shape, and it has shown. This team is amazing at times. They can have their moments where they shut down an Arizona offense to nothing, to where they literally put Big Brother USC in their place, and to add insult to injury, hurt Matt Barkley at the end of the game. Like, that's a statement right there. And they could have won the Pac-12.
Mm-hmm.
They were in the championship game. They had to play Stanford twice in a row, and man, they were close.
Yep. And it all circles around their running back, Jonathan Franklin. Like I said, he's the school's all-time leading rusher, and he had a career-best 1,700 rushing yards and 13 rushing touchdowns, and also had 300 receiving yards and a pair of touchdown catches. So this guy is just a beast, and a lot of analysts are saying that he can be an every-down NFL back, and I'm inclined to agree with him in that.
Yeah, as am I, but a lot of this offense circulates around Brent Hundley, a redshirt freshman, and this kid comes in and he is doing work. Like I said before, he's got 3,400 yards on the year with 26 touchdowns, plus he's got 9 touchdowns rushing on 365 yards rushing. Man, this kid is really good. I like what I see from him, and as a fan of the opposing team in the South in Arizona, I do not like the fact that I get to see this kid for like possibly 3 more years.
Yeah, and this UCLA team is pretty good defensively as well. Like you said, held a very, very, very good Arizona offense to pretty much nothing.
Yeah, and they have a great junior linebacker in Anthony Barr, who leads the nation with 13.5 sacks. And this kid was, considering going to Notre Dame, I think I heard somewhere that his dad went to Notre Dame, and, they have a lot of good ties to Notre Dame, but he decides to go to UCLA, wants to go to La La Land, and he's doing really well for them.
Can you imagine him and Teo on the same team?
Whew, scary. But they also have another linebacker. You want to hit up on him?
Yeah, Eric Kendricks says he's 5th in total FBS with 137 tackles. So this guy will wrap you up. I mean, no matter what, you catch the ball, you run the ball. He's a very, very solid tackler to complement Anthony Barr.
Yeah, but on the other side, of the sidelines, they've got a lot to deal with this Baylor offense. There is a lot. Like we said before, Lache Seastrunk. God, I can't believe that. It is spelled Lache.
How do you get Lake out of that? I mean, I'm no English expert, but I don't know.
It sounds French. It's got to be. Just like the other guy, like Goatsher.
Gargier.
Oh, my God. But yes, this offense, Seastruck, he's not the only focal point in this offense. Man, you got to watch out for Nick Florence. Like we said before, he's the national leader in offense, averaging 387.7 yards per game. And he's also got 4,121 yards passing with 31 touchdowns and 13 picks.
Yeah, this guy's just a product of his coach and a product of their offensive coordinator. And they just love to throw the ball. Baylor lost to West Virginia, and they scored 63 points. So that just shows you how many points they can score per game. And they're just not afraid to just pile on the points. And it all starts with senior wideout and Blitnikoff Award finalist Terrence Williams. And he topped the nation and set a school record with 1,764 receiving yards this season.
Yeah, you got to watch out for this kid. This kid's going to burn you over the top. And they also have another really good wide receiver. This guy, he's got 890 yards. Tevin Reese. This guy, watch out for him too, because this is their other speedy wide receiver. Man, this offense just scary how good they can be. The fact that Lake Seastrunk in the game against Oklahoma State can burst it up the middle, pull his hammy, and still score a touchdown, It's just ridiculous to me. Like, I don't know how you do that. So what do you think is going to be the keys of the game? What do you think for Baylor? I'm going to give you Baylor because I want to talk about UCLA.
Yeah. I think the keys for both of these teams is going to be your defense has to show up, and especially for Baylor, their defense at times this year has given up as many as 500 yards in a single game, and you really just can't do that against this UCLA offense. I mean, you talk about defense in the the Big 12, and it really, really is pretty much non-existent at times.
Oh my God.
And Baylor, you just got to have a good game. You got to play like you did against the number 1 Kansas State. You got to play really, really well and solid if you want to beat this UCLA team. Because their offense, they're going to do their thing. They're going to score like they always do, but your defense has to play well.
I agree with that. I mean, they don't have to play perfect defense. Not at all. Look at the Kansas State game. Baylor's offense just went ham, and they just had a few defensive stops, which helped them get a win against the number 1 Kansas State Wildcats and knock them out of a natty. But yeah, going to UCLA, I think for them, they need to feed Jonathan Franklin, and Brent Hundley needs to be turnover free. I really think that this can happen, though. I think Brent Hundley, he's a really good quarterback, up and coming. I think he's going to be on the short Heisman list, too, for the upcoming season. I mean, and also Jonathan Franklin. This guy, he is the all-time leading rusher for UCLA. God, I'm losing my words here. But yeah, I feel like he's going to do well. You just feed him, especially against this Baylor defense that has so many holes. Like the fact that we said earlier, they played West Virginia. They scored 63 points, but lost 70-63. Like, oh my God, the game was just...
Forgot we were watching basketball.
It was so bad. Oh, man. But yeah, I think if UCLA can get some stops, maybe hold Nick Florence like a few 3-and-outs, or maybe just even hold him to field goals, I think UCLA can come out with a win. So you want to give us a prediction for your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a game that does not have any lack of offense whatsoever. But I give UCLA the edge purely based on the fact that their defense is a lot better than Baylor's, and Baylor's is virtually non-existent. So as far as a score, I'm pretty confident in UCLA. I'm going to say UCLA 52 and Baylor 42.
Yeah, I'm feeling the same thing, I'm feeling that UCLA is just going to go crazy. And I feel like they have a good enough defense to, get a few stops against Baylor. But I do think it's going to be really high scoring. I think the final score is going to be like 49-28 UCLA. So yeah, leave us a like rating, subscribe, and leave us a comment. Tell us what you think about this game. This is actually a really good game. The Holiday Bowl.
Very good game.
Holiday Bowl is known for their offensive shows. I mean, I remember a few years back when it was Oregon against Oklahoma State. Oh man, that was a great bowl if you're an offensive lover.
Oh yeah.
Don't tune in, SEC fans. It's not your type of game. Alrighty, well, tune in next week when we talk about the Advocare V100 Independence Bowl between the Ohio Bobcats and the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks. This is UFC Wildcat and Powder Blue Bolts signing out.